Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're talking about the emergency fund. And I know you've probably heard this before. You know you should have one. Maybe you've tried to build one before and life kept getting in the way. Maybe you have something saved, but it's nowhere near where you want it to be, and every time you get close, something comes up and knocks it back down. Here's what I want you to take from this video. Building an emergency fund is less about willpower and more about systems. The people who successfully build and maintain emergency funds aren't more disciplined than everyone else. They've just set things up in a way that makes saving automatic and spending the savings difficult. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in 7 steps. Let's get into it. Step number 1, save first, not last. This is the single most important mindset shift in all of personal finance, and it sounds almost too simple. But most people do savings completely backwards. They pay their bills, they spend on their needs and wants throughout the month, and then at the end, they save whatever is left over. The problem is there is never anything left over. Life expands to fill the available budget. There is always something else the money could go to, and so the savings never happens. The fix is to flip the order entirely. The moment you get paid, before you pay bills, before you buy groceries, before you do anything else, you move a set amount to your emergency fund. You pay yourself first, just like you would pay any non-negotiable bill. Everything else gets funded from what remains after savings. This single change is transformational for most people because it removes the decision from the equation. The money goes to savings automatically at the top of the pay cycle when there is money available, not at the bottom when there isn't. Step number 2, automate it completely. Take the pay yourself first principle and remove yourself from the process entirely. Don't rely on remembering to transfer the money. Don't rely on having the discipline to do it manually every time. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your savings account on the same day you get paid every single pay period. Once it's automated, 2 things happen. First, the money moves before you can spend it. Second, you stop thinking of that money as available spending money because it disappears from your checking account immediately. Within a few pay cycles, your brain adjusts and you start living on what's in your checking account without even registering that the savings transfer happened. The amount doesn't matter as much as the consistency at this stage. $20 a paycheck is better than nothing. 50 is better than 20. Start with whatever amount feels genuinely sustainable and build from there. An automatic small transfer that actually happens every single month beats an ambitious manual transfer that you skip when life gets complicated. Step number 3, stash every windfall immediately. This one can dramatically accelerate your timeline if you apply it consistently. Windfalls are any money that comes in above and beyond your regular income. Tax refunds, work bonuses, cash gifts, rebates, survey payouts. Anything that isn't part of your normal monthly budget. Here's the key psychological insight. Because you weren't counting on that money in your regular budget, you genuinely don't miss it when it goes straight to savings. You were living fine without it before it arrived. Send it directly to the emergency fund the same day it comes in before it gets absorbed into your regular spending. The average tax refund is over $3,000. That alone could be the foundation of a starter emergency fund or could push an existing fund to the next tier. Most people spend their tax refund within a few weeks of receiving it on things they can barely remember 3 months later. Stashing it instead is one of the highest impact financial decisions you can make in any given year. Step number 4, slash your budget to find more room. When you look at your monthly expenses, honestly, most people find at least some spending that isn't delivering real value. Subscriptions you forgot you were paying for, eating out more frequently than you realized, convenience purchases that add up to a significant monthly number. The exercise here is to go through every single line of your spending and ask honestly, is this delivering real value to my life, or is this just habit and convenience? You don't need to cut everything you enjoy, but finding $50 or $100 a month in spending that you can redirect to your emergency fund without meaningfully reducing your quality of life is realistic for most households. Cable and streaming bills, subscription services you barely use, daily purchases that are convenient but not necessary, restaurant spending that happens by default rather than by choice. Each individual cut might feel modest, but stacked together they can add hundreds of dollars a month to your savings capacity. Step number 5, increase your savings rate over time. Here's a pattern that works really well for building savings without feeling the pain of a big, immediate lifestyle change. Start with a savings rate that feels comfortable and sustainable. Then increase it by a small percentage every few months. If you're saving $100 a month, go to $110, then $125, then $150, then $175. At each step, the increase is small enough that you barely register it in your daily life. But the compounding effect of those small incremental increases over a year or two is significant. This works especially well when you get a raise. Instead of letting the full raise get absorbed into lifestyle inflation, which is what naturally happens if you don't intervene, direct a meaningful portion of it to your emergency fund increase. You were already living on your previous salary, so you don't miss the money that goes to savings. Your lifestyle improves modestly from the raise, and your savings rate improves substantially. Step number 6, put your savings in the right account. Not all savings accounts are created equal, and where you keep your emergency fund matters in two important ways: how much it earns and how accessible it is. On the earning side, a standard savings account at a big bank pays almost nothing. We're talking fractions of a percent. Online high-yield savings accounts are currently paying 4 to 5% APY on the same FDIC-insured deposits. On a $10,000 emergency fund, that difference is roughly $400 to $500 a year just from choosing the right institution. There is no reason to leave that money on the table. On the accessibility side, your emergency fund needs to be liquid. That means you can access the money quickly without penalties when you actually need it. This is why emergency funds don't belong in stocks or long-term investment accounts where a market downturn could reduce the value right when you need to access it. High-yield savings or money market accounts give you the best combination of competitive returns and immediate accessibility. And step number 7, keep saving after you hit your goal. Most people set a target, 3 months of expenses, 6 months of expenses, and treat it like a finish line. Once they hit it, they redirect all that savings capacity elsewhere. And that makes sense for a lot of goals. But with emergency savings, there's a case for continuing to build even after you've hit your initial target. Life gets more complex over time. Income grows, which means 3 months of expenses at 35 is a larger number than it was at 25. Major responsibilities increase: mortgage, dependents, more complex health situations. What felt like a fully funded emergency fund at one stage of life may feel thin at another. Beyond that, by the time you've hit your emergency fund goal, you've built a savings habit and a system that works. The automatic transfer is set up. The behavior is ingrained. The sacrifice is already baked into your budget. Keeping the momentum going and redirecting excess emergency fund savings into retirement accounts, investment accounts, or other financial goals is one of the most natural transitions you can make. All right, let's land this. 7 steps. Pay yourself first before anything else gets funded. Automate the transfer so discipline is never required. Stash every windfall immediately before it gets absorbed. Slash spending to find hidden room in your budget. Increase your savings rate incrementally over time. Put your savings in a high-yield account that earns real interest. And keep saving beyond your initial goal, because financial security compounds just like interest does. Here's the thing about emergency funds that I think gets lost in the conversation. It's not just about having money for emergencies, though that's obviously the point. It's about what that cushion does to the rest of your financial life. When you have a fully funded emergency fund, you stop making desperate financial decisions. You don't go into debt for a car repair. You don't drain your retirement account for a job gap. You don't make major career or life decisions from a place of financial fear. The emergency fund is the foundation that makes every other financial goal more achievable. Start where you are, even $25 this week. Set up the automatic transfer today. You don't need to build the whole thing at once, you just need to start. If this was helpful, drop a like and subscribe. Personal finance videos every single week. And tell me in the comments, where are you in your emergency fund journey right now? I read every comment. I'll see you in the next one.